this is Lauren again. I know, and I'm really sorry that I didn't make a video while I was in San Francisco for the Amity interview, but I was pretty busy and pretty tired most nights, so I'm making a video now. So as you can see, I'm in my dorm room right now, so it's not really the most beautiful location in the world, but I did want to share with you not only the results of my Amity interview, but also just give you some more information on what the interview process is like for Amity. So I didn't get the personal interview. I did get to go to the group interview, and while I didn't go to the personal interview, I could still give you sort of the rundown of what the whole process would be like, and maybe a little bit of history of the company or whatever. So when you walk into the interview, you get like a little folder here and you get a pen, which I left at home, but this has like a folder on one side and sort of a pamphlet on the other side, and it basically just talks about the history of the company and how it was once part of Aon and now they're just sort of like sister companies. Aon is for teaching adults, while Amity is primarily for teaching children. And they have students that are between the ages of 6 months and 18 years old, so it's a very wide range of students. Aon was founded in 1973 by Kiyoshiaki, and he had come to study abroad in America or something along those lines, and he realized that he couldn't really communicate with anyone in America very well, even though he had studied English. So he decided when he came back to Japan to make a series of English schools that'll teach people conversational English. And so Aon/Amity was born. And so when you walk in, the first day is basically like an orientation. So you sit in a room with 30 plus other people, and you watch a PowerPoint presentation. The recruiters will narrate the presentation, and you'll have to watch like a 15-minute video which follows a guy and a girl who are both members of Amity in different places and sort of what their daily life is like. And so basically with Amity you have to also, in addition to teaching the students, you also have to like talk to the parents afterward, just to give the parents an idea of what happened in the class, what the homework is, what the students need to do to get better at their English. 6 months after you start working at Amity, there's also another 3-day training session. I don't know if it happens every year, but definitely the first year that you work there. The main office is in Okayama, Japan, and they have 77 branch schools all across Japan, and they have 720,000 students, sorry. Can't read my own handwriting very well. But 720,000 students across Japan, which is a lot. That's a very large number. Including Aon, there are 325 schools in Japan. So the responsibilities for Amity teachers are not only teaching and lesson preparation, lesson explanation that I said when you talk to the parents, but also you need to submit progress records for each of the students, and also you need to keep sort of a journal at about that same time for the next teachers who will have these students, that sort of just, you talk about the student, how well they're doing, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and how best to handle the students if they're troublemakers. Oh, and you also have to give sample lessons to potential students to assess their ability. You have to market both Amity and yourself by submitting flyers throughout the neighborhood. You have to go to business meetings, and if you don't understand Japanese well enough to go to those meetings, you can ask your manager or someone else who works there to translate them for you. Also, there are a variety of Japanese teachers of English that also work for Amity, and when they hire new ones, the native English teachers are required to sort of assess their English ability to make sure that they actually do know English fairly well. That's just one of the many parts of their interview process, and so whoever is working for Amity will have to also participate in that, which I don't mind. I'd rather work with people who can understand English and that are teaching students. Also, you'd have to clean the whole office after closing. So, you know, with everybody else, but still. They have their own textbooks, which focus on reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Not that crazy. And you'll have an hour-long lunch break and teach 6 to 7 classes a day. So, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty packed day, I would say. But you shouldn't have more than like 10 students in a class. Most likely less than that. Less than that. Particularly if they're younger. But, you know, it would be a really fun experience for people who do get this job. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I think it would be a really great experience. And I did take a lot of notes on the presentation, so if you do have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask, and I should at the very least be able to give you an educated guess as to what the answer would be. So after this PowerPoint presentation, you get broken up into groups. So I was in group 1, and you come back after like a lunch break, and then you have 5 minutes to like sort of demonstrate the best part of your 30-minute lesson plan that you're supposed to submit to them. And so, for example, like my lesson, I was doing colors. So, and I had a game with a die, and that was the part that I was going to demonstrate. But before that, in my lesson plan, I also helped talk to the students and explain a poster. So I would have to explain a little bit of that before going into my lesson, like demonstration. But I mean, if you were demonstrating the very beginning part of your lesson, then you could just go right in. But you have to say how old the students are, their level of English, and the topic of your lesson before you start. And you have 5 minutes, and the other participants, so there should be like between 1 and we had 7 people in our little group. So all those other applicants will also be participating in your lesson plan as sort of being the children in your lesson plan, which is actually really fun. I had a lot of fun helping other people with their lessons. And one of the recruiters will be taking notes on your presentation and might ask if you, like I had a poster that I brought in and like a little arts and crafts project for the end of my lesson that I also handed in, because if they'll want to have some part to show the other recruiter when they discuss how you did, I guess. I don't know. And after that, they will give you an email or a phone call by 7 o'clock that night to notify you on whether or not you will have a personal interview the next day. I don't know when the personal interviews will be, but you would not know until 7 o'clock p.m. that day of the group interviews. So, you know, you wouldn't have a whole lot of notice in terms of when your interview would be. If you are from out of town, it'll be the next day. So for mine, my group interviews were on Saturday, so I would have had a personal interview. So sorry about that, I think it just turned off. But so I would have had a personal interview on Sunday. But if I was from town, so if I lived in San Francisco or where their head office is in LA, I would have my personal interview on Monday. But they do recruit from all over the US, and I think it would be a really fantastic experience for anyone. But if any of you guys get into Amity, please let me know what it's like, and maybe we can both give other people more information. But I'll put the link to the Amity's website in the underbar or whatever this thing is down below. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, good luck. I also applied to the JET program, but I won't know until the beginning of February if I will actually be getting an interview with them. And, you know, same thing with the JET program. If I do get to go to the interviews, or if I don't, I'll let you know too. But if I do, I will give you sort of like a rundown of what they were like, just like I did for the Amity program. I want to be as useful as possible for everybody. So, good luck and everything. Happy New Year, if I didn't say that already. And yeah, happy YouTubing.